Hello everyone, welcome back. Tom with Capo Fetish. So, a while back, we talked about songs that put us in a funk. A few videos ago, we talked about songs that make us weep. Today, we're going to do a 180. We're going to talk about ear candy faves. Albums that put us in a really good state of mind. These albums lift our spirits. This first album I'm going to mention today is an album I've been listening to only for about 5-6 months. And it pretty much spawned this concept today. And these songs on this album have pretty much been invading my soul on a daily basis for months, all right? And I never even knew this band was this brilliant. And since I bought one of their albums for a quarter, or CDs for a quarter, I've gone deep into their catalog. This one particular album, though, really has been a really infectious listen. So I'm just going to feature it right here, right off the bat. It's from 1993. It's called Modern Life is Rubbish by Blur. This album to me is absolutely pure ear candy. Every time I listen to it, every track is just super infectious, super catchy. The arrangements are amazing. The melodies are amazing. Vocal melody lines are just so memorable. I'll wake up in the morning. There's a song on here called Villa Rosie. I've got that chorus going through my head constantly. Other songs on here called like Blue Jeans, just a beautiful little ballad. Very infectious ballad going through my head. Another one called Star Shaped. Can't get it out of my head. Another one called Advert. I mean, the whole record. It's just an incredible listen, and I never really realized how brilliant Blur was. Like I've mentioned videos ago, I only heard song number 2 and Girls and Boys. I never liked any of those tunes. Never dived deep into the catalog. Since I picked up Park Life about 6 months ago, I've dived deep into their catalog. I think this album's a 5-star masterpiece. I love Park Life as well. That's way more varied than this album. Love that record. Love The Great Escape and that, that self-titled one just called Blur from 97. Those 4 albums to me are just absolutely brilliant. But this one I always reach for the most lately. Past 5 months, I've been playing this nonstop, and I cannot get these songs out of my head. And on top of it, I think Graham Coxon, the guitarist, is one of the most brilliant guitarists, on par with Johnny Marr, James Honeyman Scott, that whole lineage of, alternative British guitarists. Just amazing. There's not a note wasted that he plays. He makes all these songs amazing. And of course, Damon Albarn's songwriting. And then that rhythm section of Alex James and Dave Rowntree. Just incredible. Incredible album. Can't get it out of my head. And this is the number 1 right now for me as far as ear candy goes. Lifts my spirits. And every time I listen to it, I just want to take on the world. So, Modern Life is Rubbish by Blur from 1993. Here are 9 other ones I reach for when I just feel like just hearing some pure ear candy. I don't want to have to go into a funk or get melancholy. I just want to just hear good, uplifting rock and roll. This one, T-Rex, the album The Slider, is one of those albums I reach for when I just want to get a nice little pickup. Baby Boomerang. Let me look at these tracks here. Every track on this album I love. This came out in 1972. Telegram Sam, Rabbit Fighter, love that track. Rock On, Metal Guru, Mystic Lady, The Slider, Buick McCain, Main Man, the whole album, Ballrooms of Mars, just an absolute 5-star masterpiece from 1972. Mark Bolan was just on a roll at this point in his career. And I like this one even a little bit more than Electric Warrior, even though that is a really infectious record. But I absolutely love The Slider. And when I need a little pickup, I put on side 1 of The Slider, and it absolutely does it for me. So The Slider is another one from T-Rex. When I want some really upbeat, real sunshine music, I reach for the best of the Love and Spoonful. Great early comp here, but there's a better one here from 1990 from Rhino Records. It has their complete discography. Now, I love all 4 of their albums. They put out 5. The 5th one was with Joe Butler after John Sebastian left the band. But their 4 albums are fantastic, but sometimes I just want to hear the full spectrum of their catalog in a compilation, and this one is it. Summer in the City, You Baby, Daydream, all those songs, just totally uplifting, timeless. John Sebastian, brilliant songwriter. No one talks about him enough these days. A lot of people talk about a lot of those bands from the mid-'60s, like the Byrds, especially American bands like the Byrds, Love, but Love and Spoonful just doesn't get enough love, and they need more love, in my opinion. So I always reach for Love and Spoonful when I need a little lift as well. Another one is Todd Rundgren's 1978 album, Hermit of Mink Hollow. Some people prefer Something Anything and some of his other material. I think this is one of his best albums. I think every track on here is super infectious. All the Children Sing, Too Far Gone, Bread, You Cried Wolf, Hurting for You. It's a good mixture of like ballads, really cool soulful ballads, mixed with some really good power pop. Songs like Determinations, it's a great power pop song. All these songs are instantly catchy. I've been listening to this thing since it basically came out in 1978. And just great ear candy throughout this album. Todd Rundgren's Hermit of Mink Hollow. When I want some more ear candy, I reach for Best of Bert Backrack. This is a compilation put out by Rhino, I think back in the 90s, late 90s. It has all those great Dionne Warwick tracks. Every track on here is just about perfect. Baby It's You by the Shirelles. Anyone Who Had a Heart by Dionne Warwick. I Say a Little Prayer by Dionne Warwick. I'll Never Fall in Love Again. You have The Look of Love by Dusty Springfield. I think one of the best versions of that song ever. You have Walk On By Dionne Warwick. And Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head by B.J. Thomas. Just all those great AM hits from the mid to late 60s from Bert Backrack and early 70s. Love this stuff. Another one too, I mean, you could say all the Beatle albums are infectious, but I think this one is just absolute pure ear candy from start to finish. Hard Day's Night, one of the most uplifting records ever made right here. What can I say about it that I haven't already been said in another video, right? The whole first side is songs from the first film. Hard Day's Night, Should Have Known Better, If I Fell, and I Love Her, Tell Me Why. The second side is just as good. Anytime at All, I'll Cry Instead, Things We Said Today, When I Get Home. One of my favorite early Beatle tracks. You can't do that. The gorgeous I'll Be Back. This is the definitive ear candy listen for me right here. When I want to go way back. Love this album. Hard Day's Night by the Beatles from '64. Another one too is sometimes I really get in the mood for some really good harmonies, and I love the Everly Brothers. And here's another great Rhino compilation, the Everly Brothers all-time original hits. These songs are so infectious. I mean, this is just pure ear candy. I mean, Bye Bye Love, Wake Up Little Susie, All I Have to Do Is Dream, Bird Dog. One of my absolute favorite songs of all time, Crying in the Rain, written by Goffin and King. So beautiful, so catchy. Ebony Eyes, Kathy's Clown, When Will I Be Loved? Pure ear candy right here. Everly Brothers, so many great songs from the late 50s, early 60s. And I think Rhino put this out in maybe the early 2000s, or maybe it was the late 90s. I'm not sure, but seek it out if you need some Everly Brothers. This is a great, perfect compilation. Sometimes less is more. There's 16 tracks on here. Now, I've featured this album almost too many times, but when I'm talking about ear candy for me, for my personal listen, I go to Big Star's Radio City. This is pure power pop ear candy right here. From start to finish, Oh My Soul, Life is White, Way Out West, sung by drummer Jody Stevens. Of course, anybody who doesn't know who Big Star is, this is the band that Alex Chilton formed. After he left the Box Tops, he had a few years there of like being in limbo between the Box Tops and Big Star. But this is Alex Chilton's band along with Chris Bell. Chris Bell wasn't on this album. He left after a #1 record. But if you've never heard this album, I know there's a lot of people who haven't heard Big Star. Start with this album. It's absolutely perfection. And these songs are so catchy. It's just pure ear candy. Pure ear candy. What's Going On? You Get What You Deserve. The latter half is even better than the first, I think. Maud Lang, Back of a Car, Daisy Glaze, the classic September Girls, which even the Bangles covered. It's just an absolute uplifting listen from start to finish. Great guitar parts. Alex Chilton doesn't get enough credit for his guitar playing. Very inventive. Very, I would say it's very inventive, like for a lot of those alternative guitar players. You know, especially like, what would we say, like Peter Buck, those type of guitar players. Kind of understated, but very, very infectious and powerful. So another, just this one I go to a lot when I just want a really good ear candy listen, and that is Radio City by Big Star from 1974. And then another one too, I mean, this is just pure, absolute ear candy right here. The first Byrds album, Mr. Tambourine Man, from start to finish. Those harmonies, that chimey guitar. Of course, Mr. Tambourine Man, I'll Feel a Whole Lot Better. Gene Clark's on fire on this record with that track. You Won't Have to Cry, Here Without You, All I Really Want to Do. There's some Dylan covers on here. I Knew I'd Want You, another great Gene Clark song. You got probably the definitive version of Chimes of Freedom by Dylan on here. Just one of those perfect albums, and it's just a great lift every time you listen to it. So this is just pure ear candy right here for me. Mr. Tambourine Man by the Byrds from 1965. When I want a little Motown ear candy, I reach for Diana Ross and the Supremes, the anthology album here. Fantastic stuff. I think they had as many hits as the Beatles did during a period there in the mid-60s, or like mid to late 60s, as far as #1 hits go. What can you say? I mean, You Can't Hurry Love, Baby Love, In and Out of Love, Reflections. I always loved this track called The Happening. Kind of sounded a little different than their other tracks. Someday We'll Be Together. I Hear a Symphony. I mean, it's just on and on and on. Just amazing tracks. For the Supremes anthology here, if you've never heard this, pick this up. This is from 1974. I'm sure there's been a bazillion other Supreme anthologies since then. So that's just a little example of 10 albums I reach for when I want some pure ear candy. I want a lift, and I don't want to have to like struggle to listen to something or put me in a certain mood. I just want pure ear candy, and those are just 10. I could probably mention another 20, but those are just 10 I remembered from the top of my head. So if you have any to mention in the comments section, please put your favorite ear candy faves in the comments section. As always, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed and you dig the content, just press the subscribe button. And we'll see you soon, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.